Alright, what's going on, guys? Today I'm giving my MLB DraftKings picks for Monday, July 17th. We got a nice slate on this Monday, got a 12-game slate. Pitching is actually kind of weak today for it to be a 12-game slate. You really only have one stud, one guy over 10K, and that's Lance McCullers. And then after that, it's just a bunch of mid-range options. John Lester's 9-8, and then after that, pretty much just a bunch of mid-range guys in value. So pitching, you can definitely take a stand if you don't want to pay up for McCullers today and look towards the mid-range and then maybe getting in some bats. There is a Coors Field game on this slate, so you definitely will need some salary to pay up because there are some good bats on this slate. But yeah, I'm going to give you guys how I'm looking to attack this slate, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so looking at pitcher, like I said, up top you got Lance McCullers. I think if you're playing cash games today, I think McCullers is just a lock. You got to put him in. He's really the only stud on this slate. So I like Lance McCullers today as my SP1. I usually always construct my 5 plays off of a cash game optimal strategy. So Lance McCullers, my SP1 today at 11,500. It isn't the most juicy matchup, obviously, against Seattle. Seattle, they're definitely not a terrible team. But if you look at McCullers' splits, he's actually faced his team twice this year. In 2 games against Seattle this year, he has averaged 26 DraftKings points. If you look at McCullers' home and road splits, he pitches a lot better at home as well, averaging 24 DK points at home this year. And McCullers will be facing Seattle at home, so he is definitely in a good spot. And like I said, he's really the only ace on this slate. He definitely has upside here. He's the safest option, so you're going to want to consider him for cash games. But if you look at how Seattle is versus right-handed pitching, they do have a decent K rate. They rank 18th in strikeout rate versus righties, striking out 20.8% of the time. And if you look at average and WOBA, they're somewhat good against righties. A 265 average and a 326 WOBA, which is about middle of the pack. This Seattle team definitely has some good bats in their lineup. But if you look at Vegas lines, Vegas isn't expecting them to do well today. They do have a very low implied run total. Right now, as I'm recording this video, Vegas only has Seattle's implied run total at 3.7 runs, which is the lowest on the slate. So they like McCullers here. They think he's going to do well. He should get a win. He is a very big favorite. With Ariel Miranda opposing him, I do expect the Astros to be able to rough up Miranda, give McCullers some run support, definitely give him a chance at a win. So I like Lance McCullers today as my SP1 at 11,500. I definitely think he has the most upside on this slate by far. He also is the safest option. So I really like Lance McCullers today as my SP1. And then for my SP2, I'm going to be looking at the mid-range. And I really like Josh Tomlin today, 8K getting a matchup against the Giants. I really like this upgrade in parks for Tomlin. He's going to be going to San Francisco, probably the most pitcher-friendly park in the majors. So Tomlin definitely has that working in his favor. And this San Francisco team is also not really a team you're going to be afraid of. If you look at how they are versus righties, they don't really strike out a lot. They do rank towards the bottom of the league in K rate, only striking out 19.5% of the time. But offensively, this team's pretty pitiful. They're only hitting a 239 average and a 291 WOBA versus righties. So Tomlin, I think he's definitely safe here. This San Francisco team is not really a team that you're going to be afraid of. And then if you look at Vegas lines, I believe the Giants do have a very low implied team total. Yeah, they're only implied to score 4.1 runs, which is pretty low. So I really like Tomlin here. I don't know if he has crazy upside. I don't think he's going to be able to get like 8 or 9 strikeouts. But for cash games, I definitely think he can get me 20 DraftKings points and return value on his 8K salary. So I really like Josh Tomlin today for my SP2 at 8,000. When you plug in McCullers and Tomlin as your 2 pitchers, that leaves you an average of about 3,800 remaining per player. So we are going to have to plug in a couple value plays to build around those 2 pitchers since we did pay up. So my first play, not actually going to be a value play, more of a mid-range play. But I really like Will Myers today at just 4,200, getting a matchup against German Marquez in Coors Field. I absolutely love this spot for Myers. I definitely think that he is too cheap playing in Coors. I was expecting his price tag to be near 5K. So for just 4,200, I really like that discount you're getting on him. Now Myers, he has not been that good this year. But going into Coors Field, that is an insanely good park upgrade for him. You can pretty much consider rostering anybody in Coors Field. That ballpark is just so hitter-friendly. But if you look at his matchup versus Marquez, it's not a great matchup. Marquez is definitely a solid pitcher. He's only given up a 333 WOBA to righties. But at home and on the road, this is where Marquez really struggles. But if you look at his home and road splits, he does give up more home runs to righties, and he's been getting hit hard at home as well. So far this year at home versus righties, Marquez has given up a 1.69 home run per 9. And if you look at hard contact, he's been getting hit hard all year by righties, and especially at home as well. 37.3% hard contact and 46.6% medium contact versus righties this year. And then at home versus righties, 45.6% medium contact and 39.7% hard contact. So Marquez has really been getting hit hard by righties. So this is a really good spot for Will Myers, and at just $4,200 playing in Coors Field, I do really like that price tag. So I like Will Myers today at first base at the mid-range for just $4,200. And then for my second play, we're going to be going to shortstop. Going to be targeting a value play here, a guy under 4K. And I really like Elvis Andrus at just $3,900, getting a matchup against Chris Tillman. This is such a good spot for the Rangers, just in general as a team. Chris Tillman, he is just not a good pitcher. If you look at Vegas implied run totals, the Rangers do have a high implied team total at 5.2 runs. So Vegas is expecting Tillman to struggle here, and I definitely think he is. He is just not a good pitcher. If you look at his splits this year, he's been getting crushed by lefties and righties, giving up a 440 WOBA to lefties and a 410 WOBA to righties. If you look at home runs, he also gives up a ton of home runs, actually gives up more home runs to righties. 1.31 home run per 9 to lefties and a 2.54 to righties. So he's been giving up a lot of home runs to righties. And then hard contact, he's been getting absolutely crushed by lefties and righties. 48.2% medium contact and 33.3% to lefties. 33.3% hard contact to lefties. And then to righties, 42.7% medium contact and 37.9% hard contact. So Tillman has just been struggling all around this year, and I don't think that's going to change here either. I really like these Rangers bats. I like getting some exposure to their offense. With Elvis Andrus at just $3,900, I really like that price tag on him. And since we did pay up for McCullers and Tomlin, we're going to need value hitters, so I like considering Elvis Andrus today at just $3,900. Just looking over that Texas team, a lot of their hitters are very cheap. Since you choose just 4K, Mazara's 4.1, Beltre's 4.1, Odor's 3.9. So if you're looking for a really cheap stack, they probably will be chalky, but they're very cheap and they're in a great spot. Definitely consider a ton of these Rangers bats. I'm definitely going to have exposure to their offense. But yeah, my final play, we're going to be going to the outfield. Punt play that I like here, a guy at just 3K, and that's Carlos Gonzalez. Like I said, at just 3K, getting a matchup against Luis Perdomo. Cargo, he is just too cheap in my opinion. I know he's been pretty trash this year, but when he's 3K playing in Coors Field, you have to take advantage of that. And if you look into his matchup, it is a good matchup. Luis Perdomo, he does struggle against lefties. So far this year, he's given up a 392 WOBA to lefties. And if you look at home runs, he doesn't give up a lot of home runs to lefties, but he does pitch in Petco, a very pitcher-friendly park. And going to Coors Field, going to the best hitters park in the game, I definitely think Perdomo is going to give up some home runs here. If you just look at his home run per 9 at home and on the road, 0.54 home run per 9 at home in Petco, but on the road away from that ballpark in San Diego, he's given up a 1.64 home runs per 9. So like I said, he gives up a lot of home runs on the road, and that's not going to change. That's going to Coors Field. He's going to give up some home runs there. So I really like Cargo, like these Rockies bats. They're obviously a very popular stack today, but for good reason. They have an insanely high team total at 6.6 runs. So you're going to want to get some exposure to this Rockies offense. And I like doing that today with Carlos Gonzalez at just 3K. He is way too cheap. He's in a good spot and playing in Coors Field. I love that price tag on Cargo. So I'm going to be locking him in. Value for just 3K. And yeah, so these are my 5 plays for tonight, guys. I went with Lance McCullers, Josh Tomlin, Will Myers, Elvis Andrus, and Carlos Gonzalez. When you plug these 5 guys in your lineup, that leaves you nearly $3,900 remaining per player. So you can build around this 5, just plug in a couple value plays, and then build a lineup around this 5. Or if you want to get my full lineups, be sure to follow me on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. My lineups are $5 a day, or you can get a weekly lineups for $25. So be sure to message me on Twitter if you are interested in that. Or if you just have any questions or need to ask me something, you can contact me on Twitter as well at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed. If this is your first time on my channel, please be sure to subscribe. I do upload these videos pretty much every day, so I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe. And if you never want to miss out on any videos, if you scroll down to where the subscribe button is, there is a bell icon. If you click that bell icon, that'll actually notify you every time I upload. So be sure to do that as well if you never want to miss out on any videos. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Good luck tonight, guys. Peace.